Hello and welcome to Palace Intrigue. I am your host, Mark Francis. Royal biographer Andrew Morton says, Harry's book will cause concern and it will make headlines around the world, but it won't destroy the institution. And if the institution is so weak that it can't stand a ghost-written book by a junior member, then it's probably not worth keeping it. I mean, quite frankly, a book written by a monarch, a future queen, Diana, and a book by the future King Charles are far more relevant and important than a book by, what is he now, the sixth in line to the throne, who will be rapidly going down the hierarchy? The royal family are bracing for two things. They are bracing for the coronation coming up, so you get the sense of palace officials are on tenterhooks making sure that for King Charles, people aren't reminded of his emotional hinterland, as it were. And with Harry's memoir as well, they are concerned that will affect the way people perceive King Charles. I think people would be looking for headlines, but rather like The Crown. Once you actually read and once you see it, it's more layered, more nuanced than the blaring headlines. So we'll have to get over the headlines before we get down to the nitty-gritty. But obviously, when you call the book Spare, there's a clue in the title that it's going to be about being in the shadow of his brother, and similarly, his relationship with his father. Because the ghostwriter John Moringer specializes in father-son relationships, Harry's got every right to write his memoir. He's not the first royal to do so, nor will he be the last. It goes back to Edward VIII. He wrote A King's Story in 1951, which was an international bestseller like this one's going to be, and it upset the royal family. The Daily Beast quoted a friend of William and Kate's. It's hard to imagine how devastating the last 3 years have been for William. The brothers were so close. They had such an incredible bond. It's impossible really to express what a massive, terrible, ongoing headache this has been for William in the past few years. The family blames Meghan for it all, really. They absolutely effing hate her. Basically, it's a huge disaster. Growing up, the brothers were so close. Harry would do anything to be with William. They lost their mum, and their dad was really disengaged. So they had this incredible, incredible bond. Everyone knew it. And then Meghan came along. Everyone warned him off her, but he wouldn't listen, and she just ripped him away. The bond is gone. Completely gone, and this film is just the latest betrayal. William really, really hates both of them now. It's really toxic and destructive for all of them. At the end of the day, they were a family, and their whole family life has been ruined by Meghan. You can't imagine how bad it really is. Palace Intrigue will be right back. Clive Irving told the Daily Beast, covering the royal family this year has been a challenge. The inconsequential has drowned out the consequential, particularly the Harry and Meghan saga. But a wise editor once told me, when everyone is chasing the same story, it may be the wrong story. And in fact, 2022 has been the most consequential year for the monarchy since the death of Queen Victoria in 1901, because of the death of Queen Elizabeth and the accession of King Charles, and that, to my mind, is the real story. Historian David Starkey likes the long game that the king is playing with Harry and Meghan. I don't think they matter much. Look at the opinion polls today. I mean, a near majority of people not only say they don't much like them, but they actually want them stripped of their titles. With every passing day, I think with every desperate attempt at taking a little molehill of grievance and trying to turn it into a vast, vast Himalayas of resentment, they become less relevant. What I think Charles is doing is actually playing a rather clever long game. He's just letting events take their course, which I think is a very wise thing to do. Alongside all the drama this week was a note about a royal guard staring at some ducks. A 20-second TikTok appears to show a guard at Windsor Castle saying, I am currently standing outside Windsor Castle. I meant to be looking after the royal family, currently staring at 2 ducks. Do I care? No. It is unclear when the video was taken, but of note the caption refers to the man as being part of the Queen's Guard, so it is likely from before September. Regardless, this is likely the least of King Charles' worries for the next few days. And there you have it. If you'd like to email us, our address is thepalaceintrigue@gmail.com. Please follow us on Spotify, iTunes, Google Podcasts, wherever you get your favorite shows. I'm Mark Francis. My thanks to John McDermott. This is Palace Intrigue, and good times.
All right, here's the pitch. 5 stories, they're all good news. It's called 5 Good News Stories. No negative news, just good news. Nice, easy way to start your day. Hopefully a smile. Hi, I'm Johnny Mack, host of 5 Good News Stories. You get the premise? There's 5 stories, and they're all good news. It's the number 5 Good News Stories. 5 Good News Stories. Follow the show wherever you get your podcasts.